does the heat never bother you?
Constance, I have a rock-solid constitution. You don't know that by now. Where you been all these years?
The heat doesn't bother you. Mosquitoes don't bother you. Snakes don't bother you.
No, I'm rather fond of them, especially those long ones that slither around out near the garden and get rid of all those mice. They're sort of like my friends.
What an interesting thought, that snakes are your friends.
So what are you going to be doing with yourself today besides fanning yourself?
Well, I mean, I could just sit here and be beautiful and that would be enough, right?
You're always beautiful, you know that. You are like the ultimate ray of sunshine. Even on the most stormy day, I just look at Constance and I think, that's a constant in my life. Constance.
Well, you can get just whatever you want, sir. Whatever you want for those
Goodness.
kind words.
I better get that in writing.
Now, what about you? Do you not have that council meeting this afternoon?
I do indeed. Jerry and Bo will be going on and on and on about new construction that we need to get done at the boatyard, and the Abaco Tug and Transport Company needs fixing up, and all that.
I heard your mouth. Well, I saw your mouth moving. I wasn't really paying attention.
No, it's just a lot of malarkey from them, you know.
I did have to remind you. There will be company for dinner.
Oh, Lord. Let me guess. Might that be your sister Eunice?
Well, I'd like to pretend she wasn't coming, but she is.
And how long is she planning to stay this time?
I don't know. All I know is that every minute she is here will be tension-filled.
I'll tell you why it'll be tension-filled. The last time she came for a weekend, it ended up being 9.5 months.
Well, that was a little different. She was with child, as you might remember.
Oh, I remember. I just also remember she wasn't with husband.
Yes, well, she does like to get around. Oh my goodness, what has happened to my hair today? It is so hot outside that my hair just goes every time it gets steamy. I don't know why she's coming. I don't know why she's decided at the last minute to appear. All I know is that she has a propensity for getting on my nerves.
Your nerves? Oh, well.
That is early. It cannot be her.
Speak of the devil. Devil in a blue dress, no doubt.
I suppose you want me to answer that.
Well, I'm preoccupied right now, as you can see. I still have 2 puffs left.
Why, Eunice, look at you all dressed in blue.
Constance, darling. Oh, look at you. You're just as pretty as a punch.
Punch?
Yeah.
Well, that's a different one.
Yeah,
And you are looking tremendously exotic.
I am telling you, I am exhausted.
Where have you been this time?
Oh, let's see. I was in Atlanta, and then I was in, Louisville, and then Charlotte, and then Charleston. Oh, I just can't keep up with it all.
My goodness, you do get around, don't you, Eunice?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Darling, how are you? Look at me, my manners.
Oh, so lovely to see you.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Where is your lovely child?
You do remember him, don't you?
You're a little harsh, aren't you?
Well, if you're going to have a child, you've got to put in the time. Traipsing all over the world, practically.
Lawrence is 12 years old and he is in a boarding school.
A boarding school.
Well, yes, it's proper for a boy his
Let me
age.
take that.
A military boarding school, I might add.
I have you in the upstairs bedroom. You'll notice that that's the same one that you used to sleep in back when this was Mama and Daddy's place.
Well, how considerate of you, Constance.
You'll also remember that was the one you occupied for 9.5 months during your
Now.
And how generous
We are
of
not
you.
going to start this visit in that kind of tone.
Oh, leave him alone, Constance. A man's got to speak his mind. I'm certainly woman enough to take it.
Well, perhaps my lovely husband can get himself off to his eating and leave us to ourselves.
I do have to depart your lovely company, Eunice. I hope you don't mind.
Certainly not.
I know you two ladies have a lot to catch up on.
We'll see you.
Yes, dear.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo yourself.
Well, I know I don't have to ask. Bourbon on the rocks?
Oh, leave the rocks at home. The road's rocky enough.
All right.
I think just some bourbon would be lovely. Ooh, look at the frizz. I tell you what. Oh, thank you, my dear.
Cheers.
Cheers to my sister, Constance. Mwah.
And my truly exotic sister. It must feel strange every time you come back here.
Let me take a load off my feet. Oh, goodness. All that traveling is wearing me out. So tell me about yourself and your lovely husband. How are things?
You know I'm not going to talk to you till you tell me why you're here.
Why, can a girl visit her sister? I think it's been quite a while since we've seen each other. It seems only fair that I would come and talk to you a little bit from time to time.
I do write you letters.
You do that.
You don't answer.
Well, it's so hard, when you're on the road as much as I am, to know where to even send a letter.
Where to send it? You're going to pretend you don't know where you've lived since you were a child? Where to send
You're
it?
going to keep on needling me, aren't you?
I am going to keep on needling you because I do not understand why you make it so difficult for people to love you. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's
Say it. Go ahead. Say it.
if I have to say it, then I will. You hate that I got your man.
My man. He was never my man.
You like to think so.
Sure, I had a crush on him and all in high school.
Is that what you're going to call it? We're finally having a conversation that sounds like realness. And you're going to call it a crush.
Huh. What do you expect? You think I'm going to come right out and say, oh, I loved him and I pined away? You think I'm going to admit that? You must have me confused, darling sister. Oh, totally confused.
I do love that you put it in the past tense.
Oh, believe me. Believe me, it is past.
Well, that's good, because I wouldn't want someone who was pining for my husband to be spending a lot of time here.
No, not at all, my dear. It's quite the opposite, you see. My concern is not with your husband. My concern is with you. See, I have come across some news in a most peculiar way. But let's just say, through means that I don't dare disclose, I have come to know about your husband's will.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
It wouldn't normally.
Why would you be privy to my husband's will? Oh, let me guess. You're dating Jim Smithson, of Smithson and Smithson. How interesting.
How astute of you. Jimmy always had the biggest crush on me.
He did.
He did.
I'm surprised you didn't end up with him.
Oh, he was far too easy.
Well, perhaps that was better for you.
Well, what I can say now is that that's exactly why I'm in town, is to see Jimmy again. He and I have been corresponding. Very intimately, I might add.
You don't think I'm upset about that, do you? Because I'm not. I'm totally thrilled that you are finally looking at someone as a possible partner.
Yes, dear, but listen. He disclosed to me that you are not protected in that will. Your husband is not leaving anything to you. You'll be on the streets when he dies.
Well, that no, that's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. Every word I can think of that would be, no. My husband loves me. My husband has been by my side every minute of the day. He cherishes the road I walk on.
Really?
He has loved me since the minute he left you.
We were never together. It was high school. It never even mattered. Let me ask you this. Where do you think he has been every month when he has to go to Atlanta for a week? For the past 12 years?
He's been working.
Yes, I guess you could call it that. He has a whole other family up there.
He does not.
He most certainly does.
Oh, shut! I am not listening. That is it's Malarkey. That is pure malarkey, and you are vicious to even tell me that. No, do not touch me. If that is what you have come here to tell me, then it's just pure lies. My husband would never do that. He has them confused with someone else who has the same name. There are many, many people with the same name, and I do not want to hear another word.
I'll leave you with your senses to gather them, to put the details together in your own mind of his absences.
I'm not going to give it another
No,
thought.
don't do
I'm
that.
not going to give it another thought.
Don't think about the Christmases that he had to go to the office. Don't think about how he's never here on April the 13th, the strangest date that happens to be the birthday of his eldest son. But I will leave you to your own, crazy blindness. You have to understand, I'm only telling you this because I love you. You are my sister. And I know we have had our hard times, and I know things have been tough, but I have always loved you. You are my sister. And I'm here to protect you and to watch out for you.
Well, I did invite you, and I did expect that we would have some time together. But you'll have to excuse me for a moment while I go powder my nose.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I can get it through her head.
Constance! You in?
She's not here right now.
Oh, well. See, you're still here.
Of course I am. and I will be for a few days.
Which no doubt will turn into I don't know, several months like last time. You know, Eunice.
Oh, you downstairs?
Yes, dear, I'm down here.
All right, I'm just checking.
Yeah, the meeting's over. The boat slips are all set. Everybody's got their marching orders, and we'll see how long that takes before they get themselves together. Eunice,
Yes, Bud.
now that you're here for a good long while, why don't you make yourself not so much at home, but useful? Would you mind getting me a nice bourbon after that difficult meeting I had? I'd like to relax a little.
It'd be my pleasure.
So, what did you two ladies chat about? State secrets?
Just girl talk.
Girl talk, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you much.
My pleasure.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna lay 50-50 odds you didn't spit in it.
It didn't need sweetening.
Yeah. You know, Eunice,
Yes,
every
Bud.
time you're here, there's always trouble left in your wake. Sort of like a big wave when a boat goes by. You think it's just gonna bob up and down a little bit. But invariably, somebody loses part of a dock, if you know what I mean. So, what have you gotten yourself into this time that's going to require some sort of monetary compensation on my part to keep your sister happy, you out of trouble, and me with some peace of mind? Funny, huh?
So astute. I'm just so set back by the high level of sensitivity and intelligence that seems to have befallen this house in my absence. Who would think that these halls that we grew up in, your sister and I, oh, if they could talk, what they would say. I bet there's other houses similar to this in other places, like, oh, say, Atlanta, where children are playing and halls are echoing.
You know, Eunice,
Yes, Bo.
you're one of those intuitive kind of women. I kind of like that. I do. I admire the fact that you see things other people don't. Constance, for example, she's a lovely girl. Sweet, innocent. You, on the other hand, are from the different side of that sweet and innocent track. More like a gaboon viper, coiling for a strike. And so here you are, flying in on your broomstick from Columbia, South Carolina again for another visit. What sort of household issues are you going to try to stir up this time and don't bring up Atlanta?
Well, Atlanta's a lovely place.
Oh, it's charming, yes.
So charming you visit there regularly, I think once a month, about for a week, isn't it? Let's see. Let me call on my psychic ability here. You see, like there's a house over in Druid Hills. Yes, Druid Hills, over on Claremont. Yes, a little 2-story house.
Well, I went to a place in Druid Hills a few weeks ago. Remember we took a little trip near there, and you took off, and I asked you where you were going, and you said you just had to pay a little business visit to Druid Hill. I love that area. It is charming. I've packed your bag for your next trip. Are you going to be
Thank
gone long
you,
this
darling.
time?
No, I expect to be gone only a couple of days. 3 at the most with travel, as long as the weather holds up good.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too, darling. I always do when I'm away.
Do you?
Of course I do. Constance, you are everything to me. You know that, don't you?
Well, I like to think so.
Of course you are. What would I do without you? The life we've built together, our lovely home,
Well, it's all due to your hard work.
well,
I just wish you didn't have to work so hard all the time running off on business trips.
well, like they say, pays the bills. So, I'll be back soon.
I have an idea that I think would be very nice for us.
What's that, Doc?
The next time you go on a business trip, maybe not this one, but the next one,
Yes, dear.
I'm going to come with you for the whole week.
Oh, I think that's a
really?
lovely idea.
Wouldn't that be
Why would you
lovely?
want to do that? That's so
Yeah.
boring.
Well, not always. I could set it up as a shopping trip. In fact, I bet you could join me and we'd finally be sisters again.
We could do that, or I could just stay here and watch after the house, and you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. You could just go off. It could be like a second honeymoon.
It could. We could get a
Yes.
lovely suite in the Savoy.
Of course.
I know it's expensive, but I don't think that Bo would mind.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, of course not, darling. That sounds wonderful.
I'm sorry, I haven't even given you time to go up to your room and get refreshed.
Oh, I was so glad you asked me. Oh dear. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, I will be back. I'm sure that you two have a lot of planning to do. I'm just upstairs. Toodaloo. I'll be right back.
Take a drink with you.
I will. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, that's all we need is her camping out here while we're off in Atlanta. Darling, you don't want to go to Atlanta, Georgia. First off, it's so hot and sticky, and all I'm doing is running around in these business meetings one after another. Oh, it's absolutely no fun or delight or anything. It's very boring, actually.
Look at you going on and on. Wasn't it you a little while ago who said, I should know you better by now? And here's a little insight, my dear husband. You prattle on when you're lying.
Is that sister of yours filling your head with more nonsense and malarkey?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose the only way I'll find out if it's Malarkey is by paying attention to my husband.
Let's see.
Yes. And that's why I've decided that I'm going to go on all your business trips with you from now on so that you don't have to miss me. I mean, there's nothing keeping me at home, and it's so lonely when you go away, and you miss me so dearly.
Of course I do, darling.
Well, why
How
not?
could I not?
Then I won't cause it to happen. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'm going to go on all your business trips from now on.
I so look forward to that, darling. I knew that Eunice would plant something in her head. That sister's no good for nothing. Always has been, always will be. Sure, she's got a string of youngins all throughout the South. God knows who the fathers are of any of them. They never seem to stick around long. Why would they? Look what they'd be stuck with. I think it's time maybe Eunice goes on a trip of her own. For a good, long time. I'll be back in a couple of days, darling. This is a very quick trip.
Bye-bye, honey. Oh, that was wonderful.
I can never seem to find a thing to buy in this town. I think I know every store. I get so bored with them.
Well, I don't think that they're quite your style.
I would think that that's safe to say. I don't hardly see how you could even find them. Even you could find these stores in this podunk town very fun.
Does that mean you don't like my hair?
Oh no, precious, that hat's wonderful.
I got that at Parkinson's.
Well, it's lovely. Whenever you go to Atlanta, you should be sure to go and buy yourself a new hat.
I still think that you should come with us.
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Let me tell you about why you're going to come with us. You cannot plant a seed of doubt in my mind and then walk away. And that is what you have done, little sister. You have planted a seed. And I rue the day I listened to you, because now I have to watch my husband with doubt in my mind, where before there was absolute trust. And I cannot thank you for that, because I love him. And how am I going to love him anymore when I cannot trust him?
See, that's the gift. That's the gift I gave you that you can't even appreciate. Is because you're giving your love to someone who doesn't deserve it. Do you think I said all of that to hurt you?
Yes.
Well, you're wrong.
Yes, I do.
You're wrong.
Why am I wrong?
Because I would never hurt you.
Really? Because it seems to me that in high school, the reason that I ended up not marrying Tommy Smithson is because you planted a seed of doubt.
It was true about him, too.
Oh, I see. Every man I love is a philanderer.
You know, that's one thing I have learned about in my travels. And I can spot them a mile off. You, sweetie, you're so innocent.
Why does that feel like the kiss of Satan?
Because it's bearing bad news. It's bad news, honey. There's one thing you never liked. You'd always sugarcoat everything. You didn't want to. You're going to have to confront this. You have to confront this. And if you do it well, and if you pay attention to me, you can come up on top. He needs you. He needs you in this town. You give him credibility. You give him dignity. Without you, he has nothing. He'd just be another philandering man with no respect. He'd be run out of this town on a rail. He needs you.
Eunice, I need him too. I need someone to love.
Well, then it sounds to me like a perfect situation for a very good business arrangement.
Business?
Yes.
In the middle of love?
Why not?
Bo, have you finished unpacking yet?
I'll be right there, darling. I tell you, the more I get older, the more these trips just seem to take more out of me. What's the matter? Darling, what's wrong?
Funny thing about your trip. Usually when you go away, I just keep busy. And I don't think about anything except when you're going to return.
Yes?
Only this time I thought I would use that time to look through our drawers and all our little compartments. This big house has an awful lot of compartments. Did you know that?
Uh-huh.
And look what I found. A lease for a home in Druid Hills. Signed 5 years ago.
Constance.
Do not tell me a lie. Do not dignify this lie with more lies.
You remember my brother Robert? Died in that car crash a couple years ago.
Yes.
Just before he died, he met a very nice young lady, a girl really, down at the diner that he used to frequent. Well, they took a shine to each other. And one thing led to another. Your Robert was a bit of a ne'er-do-well.
Oh, yes, I remember him very well.
Well, he ne'er-do-welled her real good. To the point where she, 9 months later, popped out a little ne'er-do-well. Of course, by then, Robert had found a way to wrap himself around a tree.
She's done it again, hasn't she?
Who?
The Viper has.
Oh, your sister. Listen. It's the least I could do for that poor girl. Child to care for, no husband.
But why didn't you tell me?
Because I didn't want you to worry or think wrong or anything.
But you spent a week there, every time, with someone else's wife.
Well, not in their house. But she's got a young boy, and he needs some kind of a man figure around.
I still don't understand why you had to lie. Did you think that I would
Would you
not?
welcome them into our house?
No,
Of
but
course
I
not.
would have been okay with you telling me that it was. Oh my gosh, you have been too protective of me. You don't see me the way the rest of this town does. You keep seeing me as that little girl in high school, and I am a woman in charge of many things. And it's time you paid attention to that.
You're right. And I do apologize. I should have just told you. So I changed the will a little. So if anything were to happen, my nephew would at least have a little bit of help, maybe for his schooling sometime, or even if it's.
And what
after
about
school.
me?
Well,
Have you touched the will for me?
you are so well set up here. I
Promise.
have war
Promise.
bonds.
Promise.
Stocks and war bonds. If something would have happened to me, you will never, ever hurt. Ever. You're my constants. My constant. I would never do anything